here we are. This is, today is April 1. I'm like, what month is it? So last month's book, March, was Are You Mad at Me? By Meg Josephson. Josephson? Yeah. Anyways. What'd y'all think?
Oh, I really liked it.
So good.
I think I'm going to read it again.
Very nice.
So I did really like it. I was able to mark a lot, and I even went back because I was like listening and physically reading. But I just like.
Did it align this time?
What do you mean?
Well, you know, Mel Robbins didn't align. She ad-libbed or whatever.
Yeah, it aligned.
Perfect.
It aligned well, except for if this thing right here says the question is, and then she goes to say something and it's italicized in the book, so she might add as an example or just so that it flows well,
okay.
One word to ease into it instead of just starting. So that was good, but I appreciate it, and her voice is very nice to listen to.
Yes.
Almost too nice because it's okay, if I'm tired, I can't do this in the car because I need to drive.
Well, I would kind of zone out. I'd be like, oh, back it up.
Yep.
I was not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a hard copy, which means I liked it because I listened to it.
And
I
you
actually
got
bought
it.
2.
Ooh.
I plan to give 1 to someone close. And then I, for therapeutic reasons. And then I had 1 sent to my daughter. She gets it Friday.
Nice.
I told her I had another one.
Another book for her.
I have another one for you to review. Wink, wink. Yeah. So, yes, it's a very good one. Mm-hmm. Who wants to sum up in 3 sentences the gist, and then we'll go.
3 sentences. No pressure.
Fine. Sorry, y'all. All right. So
I could, but I'd fumble. That's for sure.
So we know we have the classic 3 survival mechanisms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flight, fright, freeze. And those are attached to our reptilian brain. It is base primal survival, right? This book then goes into the, because we are at the top of the apex, right? This goes into the only survival mechanism that we have, and it's because we have a frontal lobe, fawn, which is more of a societal people pleaser. How do I navigate this so that everybody is happy and I don't have all of this, right? So it's all about the fawn response. So do you want to pick? You have it open,
yeah.
so I know Cece's ready.
Yeah, I just really loved all her analogies, and I, while I was reading it, I was like, wow, these are things I've actually said before. So it's very digestible, very not too clinical at all, just so relatable in so many ways, and
It's
even
very user friendly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she talks about when you start going to therapy, you obviously don't start diving into trauma. How she said she likes to call it dipping our toes in discomfort, so we can properly digest it, just so it's not so overwhelming. But yeah, I just love all of her analogies. It's very readable.
Mm-hmm. I would say I also like the perspective of with her being a therapist, she still also gives you her perspective of therapy when she started, which I don't think a lot of books give. It's no, I'm a therapist, let me teach you something,
right.
But not how I even came about to be here. Yeah.
Yes.
And she, I think, blended that so seamlessly also with client stories as well. Mm-hmm. Well, pseudo client stories, because it's not real people.
And to your point there, I think I really appreciate her talking about her walk, because the vast majority of therapists have a story, or they don't get into therapy, right? And one of the things that beaten into y'all's heads as students is we don't share personal experiences, right? And projection and transfer, like all of the things. And you've heard me argue that a lot, like push back on it. Like, no, your clients want to know that you've done some of this. That's why we do the bios. They're connecting to you for a reason, and they do want to know that, like, hey, I have some hope. They've been through it. It does not mean that my way is the way you need to walk through your story, right? But it is comforting. It is a skill to learn how to dip that in, put a little crumb to be able to relate, but not take away from their story, right? And so it was really nice to have her be able to layer that in along with client stories.
Yeah. And what I like this quote here in the beginning, it says, healing is an imperfect lifelong practice of realizing that we were never broken to begin with. It's a dance of forgetting. It's a dance of forgetting wisdom and remembering it again and again. And I like how she wrote that out, because that's one thing I felt as though I didn't always know how to articulate to clients of, you should never stop putting in the work to heal.
It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the self-actualization. If you stop, you'll never get to the top of the pyramid, right? But you can live your life in that highest level for as long as possible.
Yeah. And
right? You should never stop trying to be better, learning more about yourself. This goes into the quadrants of awareness, right? There's always going to be a piece of you that is completely hidden to others and to yourself, but we're just trying to shine a light and be a little bit more aware.
And also, healing never ends. And there's no reality where we all shouldn't try to use coping skills. Right? There might be days where we don't use them as well as other days, right? And I like how she mentions that too. At the end, she makes note, you're still a human. You're going to put this book down, and you're still going to do all of the things that you're trying not to do.
Right. But you gained more awareness.
Yeah.
Like I tell clients, if I'm right-hand dominant and I've learned that, hey, I really should be writing with my left hand. The world would be so much better if I just wrote with my left hand. You tied my right hand behind my back, I would still lead with my shoulder, right? To do that, because we have this behavioral patterns and not just actionable, the behavioral component, but it's the cognitive. We have the same cognitive patterns that we have to keep fighting ourselves and rewiring, and it's best to have humor in that. And I like the way she also said this, is I say it often, look back to when you were a child. If you can just give your child grace, and that works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. It depends on the way they conceptualize themselves, of hey, take a giggle, laugh at it, that I have my right arm's behind me and I can't, obviously that's not going to work. Right? I can laugh at myself and then give myself extra time to do it with the left. Right? And constantly thinking of that, yep, screw that one up. Let me try again. Right? And that's what life is all about. Right? But so many of us were raised on that perfectionistic component, right? And she talks about that a lot, that is a survival mechanism. It's a part of that fawning, that practice makes perfect. And reframing that into practice makes progress. But that's a hard one. That's really, really hard. And it's not societally reinforced.
Yeah.
Right? It's better to just be perfect, because then nobody will say anything.
That makes me think about this page, because I love that she brought up that nobody's thinking about you. I was like, you could have just started and ended with that.
I told you it's that point seven something other percentage in the world.
Yep.
You're not that important.
And putting words to it, because I don't think I had ever heard of the illusion of transparency. And so I was like, interesting. Like, that's something tangible to go further look into to better understand. Like, I like how she described it, but it still left more for me to like, I want to go understand that more and like research that.
Well, and you'll never be done, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, there's parts and pieces that this is going to be perfect for a lot of our female clients, right? Certainly the population that I work with, but it's with men too. We just have to package it in a way that they can receive it.
Well, I was listening to it, and my fiance was like sitting in there with me. And what chapter was it? He was like, no, what was it? It was so funny. He's like, well, I need to go back and read that.
Can we pack that?
Yeah, I was like, oh, is it Nothing is Personal? It's either chapter 6 or chapter 7. And I was like, well, when I'm done, I'll give you the book. That's what it was. It was Nothing's Personal. And he was like, and then afterwards, like a day later, he was like, no, I was being serious. Like, I want to go and like read that chapter. And I was like, okay. So it's not worded in a way where it seems like this isn't applicable to men.
Yeah.
And she has stories of men in the book as well.
I think it also ties so well with adult children of emotionally available.
Didn't she?
She
mention
mentions
she
it in
did
the
mention
last
it, yeah.
chapter.
I was
Yeah,
listening
I was
to
like,
it
okay.
in my. I was listening to it. I was getting ready, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" Went into the closet and came back out, and I was like, "Did she just mention?"
Yes, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
a professional. She mentioned the book I read in her book. It's like, I need to write a book now.
Yeah. And so even like recommending this to parents, I think would be so helpful, just so they can see, like, maybe they don't realize that this is the response they've been having, and then so they don't project it on their children.
I would say
But they're
this
going to.
is a great one
But they're going to.
for people who are in a place where, I know something I heard a lot when we were reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. It was like, gotta hide this book. Like, don't let my parents see, like, that I have the book or whatever. Granted, we're not trying to, like, cater to that. But I think this talk I would say it addresses similar things. But it's packaged differently. For people
It's
who...
packaged as basically we all do this.
Yes. Where the other one, she was just trying to get your attention so that you would read it. But if it does, it could offend someone, I guess.
True.
But yeah.
It's very true. But and when, like I said, when we were reading that one, I never thought about it as my parents. When I was reading it, I was thinking about it in the framework of a sibling, and going, I can see how they would have taken that from mom or dad and received it differently than I did. Right? Because you cannot factor out personality.
Yeah.
Because as I was reading this, I was very much thinking about, again, God bless my mother for divorcing my dad. Because when I was at my mom's house for 2 weeks, it was calm and stable and safe, and I was able to be me. Then when I went to my dad's house and my brother was there, it was, and my stepmom, cannot leave her out. It was, oh my gosh. I was absolutely people pleaser. I was caretaker. I was mediator. I morphed into whatever was needed at that moment. Supporter, comforter of my brother after what just happened with either one of them. I'm sure I supported my dad and said he was right about whatever he did disciplining my brother. I'm sure I did. I just morphed to keep this as calm as possible, right? And I know in high school I did the same thing, right? I was not ever in any one clique. I was the chameleon. I had friends in all of them, right? And I just morphed because if I stayed anywhere too long, the drama got too big and I couldn't handle that, right? So then I therefore became the therapist in high school and college because I was not in all of that. So they would come to tell me, and then, I would be very logical about it. So everybody just interacts with that a little bit differently. Right? So what else?
That kind of goes into like what you're saying, like when you're stuck in the fawn response, you work very hard to make sure everyone likes you. But perhaps the more important question to ask is, do you even like the person you're seeking approval from? Which I thought was a super, super good point as well, because I know myself, I'm always worried everyone's mad at me or that someone won't like me, but like also, why do I actually care? Right?
Are they worthy?
Yeah.
Right. I say that in this office all the time. If you're worried, going into the illusion of transparency, if you've done something or you're not wearing the right thing, right? I talked with a client earlier this week about being told, are you going out in that? Right? Okay. Well, yes. Does it matter? Well, people will think. What people? And if they are thinking, oh my gosh, whatever, fill in the blank, do I want them to be my friend anyways? Because that's their character.
Yep.
To talk smack, right? And to judge others and whatever. Please do. Please say it, because now I know you're not my people. Right? And this goes back to my story that I've told y'all about my best friend and why she's my best friend. And I've always laughed that my best friend is my best friend because she's my 3 a.m. friend. If I call her at 3 a.m. and say I need your help, she's going to wake up and she's going to show up and she's not going to ask me anything, right? And I've always laughed and said that means if I'm, I open the door butt naked and I've got kids hanging off the ceiling fan and my house is completely trashed and whatever, she's just going to walk in, probably take care of the kids first, get them off to bed, start picking up my house, whatever. And she's heard me tell this story in front of her and she always laughs and goes, but stop telling people that. Because the first thing I do is put a robe on you and go, girl. I'm like, you're absolutely right. You would, right? But those are your people, not these people who are out there judging you.
Yeah.
Right? So who cares? Please go ahead, judge me. Now I know who you are. And you just made it 10 times easier for me to move on.
Yeah. What she said, you are not responsible for the version of you that exists in other people's minds. I literally wrote wow and underlined it because that is just such a powerful line. Like,
and you're only in charge, and you're not in charge of how they receive your communication. And I love that she put that in there. You are only in charge of
how much mental space you give their perceptions.
That and your words and your actions, right? And people say your thoughts too, and I kind of like, thoughts are thoughts. They come and go. How you respond to those thoughts and how you replace those thoughts are yours, right? I am in charge of that. That's mine to take care of.
Yeah.
But all I can do is do my best to have grace, tact, and respect with my words. How you receive them after that is out of my control. It's not my shit.
I did like her mentioning, and I think I told Cece this yesterday, was, it might have been you or it might have been my fiance. I talk to a lot of people, but like at least 2. About how she mentions focusing on what you're going to say instead of how it's going to be received or like what the response is going to be, and just pay attention to the words that are like that you're expressing, and that's it. And I was like, okay. And I think that's helped me conceptualize having hard conversations. Yeah.
That's all you can do, and that's at least you have honored the emotions that came up during the interaction or in the relationship or whatever, right? Which is super, super important, especially to those of us who have this, innate response. Honor those emotions. Don't shove it down.
Yeah, the whole
Give it
nicer.
a voice. The whole, yes, the nicer.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll never remember that.
Yeah.
No, I brought it up in session today, and I was like, oh, I'm going to pull my book out. I'm probably so annoying to my clients because I'm like, new book this month, guys. But it applies here.
Well, I do it all the time. I've already recommended it to 2 people, and, this is my first day back with clients this week. So, yes, but whatever, is going to help them and receive it to move forward, right? And again, I always say this, and this is applicable to, I think, any behavioral change. The statistics show that it's an average of 7 times that people go to rehab before it sticks, right? That's just the average. And that's because you're changing a ingrained behavioral pattern. So this is no different. It's no different, right? I mean, no, we're not addicts, but it's no different. So if you hear it this way and it clicks, and then the next time you hear it through emotionally,
Adult children of emotionally immature parents.
right? You hear it that way, and you hear it with Let Me, and you hear it with this other one, you hear it with this other one. The one that we're starting this month, I'm like, I can hear it there, right? If it just takes, then it just takes it.
Yeah.
Like, just receive it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, the comment you say about we're not addicts, but there's something in here that I highlighted. Let me see if I can find it real fast. It was just talking about eating disorders, and then how basically with control and stuff, and then getting compliments on how I looked, blah, 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 blah. My inner critic said I looked my best on the outside. And so then she was talking about how she was all or nothing drinking, and then how we kind of like become addicted to the stress, to the chaos.
Because that's the normative.
Safe.
We know what that feels like. It's just like with women who are in domestic violence relationships.
And she mentions that too.
Right? Even
Like
kids
I
that
highlighted
are
it.
being abused by their parents, and they're taken away and they run back to them. It is safety. We know what that feels like, and that's security. This new norming thing, I don't know about that.
Normal
Right?
feels
And it's
scary.
also that perfectionistic component of it that concreteness. It either is or it isn't, right? And that's underlying all addictive behaviors,
Yeah.
right?
It's going to feel dangerous because it's completely new.
Yeah. It's like, I know I highlighted that too.
Oh yeah, and then I wrote like kind of like the kill be killed mentality, like with the abuse.
Yep. Yep.
Something I also enjoyed too is she made a comment about how like you're not necessarily always going to remember like your childhood, so like you may not even pinpoint kind of like
Where to
why.
go.
Yeah. So that was interesting, very interesting for me, because like just thinking of my own childhood, like I can't pinpoint any specific like bad thing, but I do have a lot of these responses, and how she was just saying like it's okay to not know this, but you can still be working on basically.
But being present.
Could be correct, right? And she talks a lot about complex trauma and this kind of stuff, and that's something that I'm glad you brought that up, that I wanted to really reinforce with people, that you don't have to have complex trauma to be a fawner or to use that as a go-to. It can simply be, I learned that my dad liked it when I made straight A's. And I liked the way that felt. And my personality took that to the extreme. We can roll that into ADHD and the dopamine and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so therefore I learned, hey, I do like this. I like this just for me. And then, well, maybe there's less emotional drama when I do this, and, right? But I wasn't beaten. My dad, I mean, that was not it at all. Right?
Would say I like how she defined complex trauma. I feel like I would have highlighted. I probably listened to her.
Essentially, a lot of little micro
thing,
traumas,
yeah.
right?
But
it's really, again, not necessarily. Again, I want to caution. It doesn't mean that you're, again, replacing blame and you had an abusive upbringing and all of this kind of stuff because you use this response, right? And a lot of it can be, again, sibling grew up you had two siblings in there, but they have two different personalities and two different needs, and it's not even two. We're complex, right? So somebody else may have thought this was, your Beaver Cleaver family, this perfect whatever, which we all know that wasn't either. But the other sibling is like, are you kidding me? Right? So just being very cautious. We're not pointing fingers. We're just saying that you formed morphically on your own from a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of this and this event happening at this precise moment, where if it had happened 2 years before or 2 years after, it wouldn't have affected you the same way, right? So
I think too, though, recognizing that it is a bunch of little micro things, and I wish we could call it something not trauma, because trauma is a heavy word.
Correct.
Even though it can be like complex trauma is a couple words grouped together to mean something completely different sometimes than like trauma, right? And it's like, to me, for lack of better word, because we need to find a new word for trauma, is the entire world does not know how to communicate well, healthy. We're all learning. All of us in the room are learning together. And so it's like you're going to have micro moments of trauma just communicating with the world around you. And it's like
Micro hurts.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That's better. And 90-second neurotransmitter responses.
Like, there you go. But that's a little
you're having little 90-second dumps.
Yeah.
is my whole point, right? It literally was 90 seconds, and you took it and made it into
your whole personality.
24 hours. Again and again and again. Right? We didn't have to do that.
Yeah. And so I do wish somebody needs to write a book about changing the word trauma to something else. That could be a whole book.
Well, and then once we changed it, we would need to change it again.
No, this is true.
Because then,
we just need to get out of our heads in a way, right? And not put so much weight on something to be identified by it, but to better understand something and move forward, right? Not
it doesn't have
label.
to consume us.
Yeah.
Right. We're all about labels. And yes, that is probably one of my biggest peeves.
That's a story for another time. That's a different book. I don't think we found that one, but that's a different book.
Nope, that's a whole other.
Yep.
Maybe the myth of normal.
Maybe that one's on our list, right?
It's the long one.
Oh yeah, the 12-hour book.
Well, okay, so then that rolls us into next month's book. Do we have a copy of it?
I literally ordered it, and literally when I was 5 minutes down the road headed here, it dropped off. So, no. It is at my house.
No worries. Again, I always order it at the end, but I see myself ordering this one. So, anyways, it's Dr. Gabor Mate's
when the body says
when the
no.
body says
Says
no.
no. So it's a little bit gonna be a little feelings, a little like science.
It's
It's like You Happier
Got-
in this had like
right.
a
It's
mixture
mind body.
maybe. Yeah.
It's mind body. It's bringing it all together. And I laughed because I just started it, and he was talking about the new, or the not the new, but the advent of psychoneuroimmunology as a discipline, and that's where the mind and body come back. And then in my discipline, in my doctorate program, it's psychophysiologist, where it is bringing the mind and the body, it's mental health and physical health together, right? It's that intersection.
He's well before his time because his book was written in 2004.
I know, but the psychoneuroimmunology has been around for a
Has
very
it?
long. Yeah.
Then why are we not hearing about this?
Again, remember I told you at some point in time, on average, it takes 17 years
That's
from a
crazy.
research paper study to make it to the public.
Oh yeah, we were talking about mold.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking about mold with that, but that's any of it, right? It just is with neurofeedback being promoted by the American Pediatric Association. That was, I think, 2011, but the work had been done in 1998, and pediatricians still don't know that neurofeedback is one of the first line
Defense.
treatments.
Yeah.
So
That's another conversation.
exactly, exactly,
But
exactly.
maybe we can get into it with the next book.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a functional medicine with a mental health
Yeah.
focus. So, yep.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, that's April, and we'll be back at the end of
May.
April.
I was like, May.
Yeah.